my long-form stream now, and we're going to get into the news. Welcome. Welcome to the stream, everyone. My name is Brian Craig, and of course, this is where MAGA comes to talk. And the President of the United States of America, Donald Trump, he caught NBC News trying to craft a fake news narrative for the sole purpose of I don't think so much creating scandal amongst himself, but to try to distract from this disaster with Nicole Wallace the other day. So I'm going to break all that down. We're going to get into it. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. So I saw this on X yesterday, and it started really blowing up. And you look at this, and there's a few stories of this. Trump explodes at reporter for asking about Rubio and Musk's fight. This is Mediaite, which is left-wing and, hates every Republican, especially Trump. Here's Mediaite. Marco Rubio and Elon Musk had a knockdown, drag-out fight on Thursday, and Trump sided with Rubio. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, Musk is out. And let's read this. Secretary of State Marco Rubio. This is Mediaite, and this, by the way, was started by the fake news New York Times. All right. Secretary of State Marco Rubio and Elon Musk reportedly had a knockdown, drag-out fight at Thursday's private cabinet White House meeting that only ended when President Donald Trump intervened on Rubio's behalf, according to the New York Times reporters Jonathan Swan and Maggie Haberman. Per the New York Times, Rubio endured a torrent of criticism at the meeting from Musk, who accused him of firing nobody at the State Department, pouring fuel on a fire that had already been burning. And you can see what they're doing here already is writing a novel, right? I mean, look at how they word this. You gotta love it. Pouring fuel on a fire that had already been burning. Oh yeah. Mr. Rubio, this is back to the New York Times. Mr. Rubio had been privately furious with Mr. Musk for weeks, ever since his Doge team effectively shuttered an entire agency that was supposedly under Mr. Rubio's control, the United States Agency for International Development. Now, keep in mind, Marco Rubio, these people that work at these State Department affiliated organizations, he's no friend of any of them. I mean, they're hacks. But in the New York Times here, but in the extraordinary cabinet meeting in front of the president and around 20 others, details of which have been reported before, Mr. Rubio got his grievances off his chest, wrote Swan and Haberman. Mr. Musk was not being truthful, Mr. Rubio said. So Rubio got, you're a liar, Elon, you're a liar. Come on. What about the more than 1,500 State Department officials who took early retirement and buyouts? Didn't they count as layoffs, he asked, sarcastically, whether Mr. Musk wanted him to rehire all those people just so he could make a show of firing them again. Then he laid out his detailed plans for reorganizing the State Department. Mr. Musk, this is New York Times again, all the fake news and drama that is fit to print. I love this drama. Mr. Musk was unimpressed. He told Mr. Rubio he was good on TV, with the clear subtext being that he wasn't good for much else. Oh, my goodness. Elon said that to Rubio. Throughout all of this, the president sat back in his chair, arms folded as if he were watching a tennis match. You can tell this is a novel. After the argument dragged on for an uncomfortable time, Mr. Trump finally intervened to defend Mr. Rubio. Was doing a great job. Mr. Rubio has a lot to deal with, the president said. He is very busy. He is always traveling and on TV. And he has an agency to run. So everyone just needs to work together. The New York Times story comes one day after, this is Mediaite now, the New York Times story comes one day after Politico reported that Trump told top members of his administration that Elon Musk was empowered to make recommendations to the departments, but not to issue unilateral decisions on staffing and policy during the meeting. In a post on Truth Social, Trump provided a summary of the meeting. And this is what Trump posted the truth. Doge has been an incredible success, and now that we have my cabinet in place, I have instructed the secretaries and leadership to work with Doge on cost-cutting measures and staffing, as the secretaries learn about and understand the people working for the various departments. They can be very precise as to who will remain and will go on. We say the scalpel rather than the hatchet. The combination of them, Elon, Doge, and other great people, will be able to do things at a historic level. That's Trump's description of what happened. Then, yeah, I know, this is, just insane. This is what they used to do before Trump labeled them fake news. They used to be able to pull this crap all of the time. So this is the Daily Mail inside Trump's explosive cabinet meeting where he spectacularly snubbed Elon Musk. Gee whiz. Bombshell reporting details the explosive clash in the Oval Office between Elon Musk and Secretary of State Marco Rubio as President Trump looked on. Now, do you see what happened here? One of them, I'm not sure by this confusing writing if it was the New York Times or Politico. Now, Politico's pissed off at Elon Musk. You got to understand, because they were getting millions of dollars a year from USAID that Elon exposed and shut down. So Politico's got a grudge. I'm shocked that they're even still reporting. And who inside the White House would be leaking jack shit to Politico after all this? I mean, if it's, it's obviously an attempt to discredit Elon and cause division inside the ranks. But this is the, and they're just plagiarizing each other. Either the New York Times or Politico, I think it was Politico, first made up this story, and then the New York Times wrote the novelization version that I shared, right? And they're just copying and pasting and doing a little rewrite in ChatGPT or something. This is the Daily Mail. Bombshell reporting details the explosive clash in the Oval Office between Elon Musk and Secretary of State Marco Rubio as President Trump looked on. Now, I've seen Rubio in a lot of these meetings. He just kind of sits there. He doesn't talk too much. Seated around the table, the world's richest man reportedly berated Rubio, according to the New York Times, which had juicy new details on the gathering Thursday. Seated diagonally across the table, Musk accused the Secretary of State of failing to cut his staff. You failed, Marco. Does anyone believe this crap? That Elon got up. You failed, Marco Rubio. Give me a break. As the New York Times put it, the tech billionaire slammed Rubio for not firing anyone and then scornfully added, see what I mean? Back to the novelization, scornfully added, perhaps the only person he had fired was a Doge staff member. But Rubio did not sit back in the meeting and just take it, instead accusing Musk of not being truthful. You're a liar, Elon. You're a liar. And Trump's just sitting there. Give me a break. This isn't even credible. The top cabinet member asked whether the 1,500 State Department officials who took early retirement buyouts counted as layoffs, and sarcastically questioned if Musk wanted him to rehire them so he could fire them again, the New York Times reported. Apparently, the argument dragged on for an uncomfortable time. Musk told Rubio he was good. You're good on TV, Musk, but not much else. Give me a break. What a bunch of bullshit. Through it all, Trump sat in his chair, his arms crossed, watching the fight play out. Finally, the 78-year-old intervened. He defended Rubio for doing a great job and pointed out he was very busy traveling and on TV and had an agency to run. The New York Times described the meeting as a potential turning point after Trump's whirlwind first few weeks of his second term. It also signaled for the first time that the president was willing to rein in Elon Musk. See, that's their whole thing. They want Elon Musk reined in because he's cutting off all their embezzled money from the taxpayer. and his Doge team's work has caused chaos and confusion across the federal government. I don't think so. I just think these fake news. New York, wasn't the New York Times getting money too from that, if I remember? Oh my goodness! You gotta. These people are out of their freaking minds. While the fiery clash on Thursday has only just come to light, the meeting itself was widely reported as Trump gathered his cabinet and made it clear they are in charge of the hirings, not Musk. He's not in charge. Give me a break. Elon flew on Marine One and is at Mar-a-Lago with his mother and the president. They flew on Air Force One with the president yesterday. He told his top officials they need to use a scalpel for the workforce cuts. I don't want to see a big cut where a lot of people are cut, Trump said. Elon and the group are going to be watching them, and if they can cut, it's better. And if they don't cut, then Elon will do the cutting. Even before Musk clashed with Rubio, he also got into it with Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy. Oh, okay. Now Musk is taking on another member of the cabinet over the state of the FAA's equipment for tracking planes. The New York Times said Duffy accused Doge of trying to lay off air traffic controllers. He pointed out that there have been multiple plane crashes and questioned Musk's team wanting him to fire air traffic controllers. Musk claimed Duffy's was lying, to which the transportation secretary insisted it was not, and that he had heard from them directly. Musk responded by demanding names. Give me names, Sean Duffy. See, this, part of it that shows that even to a Democrat, okay, that, hates Trump and all this stuff, can even see what I'm about to share. This, if you notice, the tone is that Elon Musk took control of the cabinet meeting, and Trump's just sitting there like Gene Hackman with advanced Alzheimer's and just letting this guy take over. This fits into their false narrative of President Musk, right, that they're trying to push. All right, where are we here? I lost my place. The White House gathering came one day after Musk met with both House and Senate Republicans. Doge has been the target of multiple lawsuits, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So yesterday, President Trump. Now, before I play what the president said, you guys in the chat rooms, how would you describe what they're saying here? How would you describe these articles? I mean, I say complete bullshit. Yeah, I mean, this is total insanity that they would put this in the news and think that anyone would buy it. The only people that buy it are the Trump haters. The Trump haters. See, I told you, Musk is in charge. Musk is in charge. And it's an interesting thing because writing has a voice, and you can tell the voice of these fake news articles is the voice of these Trump haters who are trying to push this false narrative that Elon Musk is the president, not President Trump. So everything is about him being in charge. And that's, Musk, not Trump. And it fits into that narrative. So the president was asked about this yesterday in the Oval Office little press conference he had. Yeah, that's enough. Who you with? I love when he does that. Yeah. Oh, NBC. Okay. No credibility there. I tell you, these people. I know. Now, last night, I did a live stream last night when this happened. So if you caught my live stream last night, you heard me talk about this. This was insane. Now, last week, last Saturday, I was telling you about the fighter jets that were flying over and around my house, and we found out that there were on Saturday around 11, again around 12, and then a third time around 1 in the afternoon. There were violations of restricted airspace around Mar-a-Lago, and they scrambled fighter jets. F-16s were flying everywhere in formation. And here we are a week later, and we haven't gotten any updates on that. I've not seen any updates on it. Who they were these people arrested, what type of aircraft, nothing. And I find it odd. There was a story explaining what happened late in the day on Saturday. Sunday stories were just a rehash of that story, and there's been no details. And the president's been coming home every weekend to Mar-a-Lago. And I believe the reason he comes home every weekend is because this is the place that he can talk freely without being spied upon. If you remember, about 2 weeks ago, they found listening devices hidden in the president's desk in the Oval Office. And they took the desk out and refurbished it, and they brought in a new desk. So he's being spied upon at the White House, again, like in the first term. And we don't know when those listening devices were put in. Were they put in when Biden was still in office, or is there a spy that in the Oval Office that planted them after Trump was in office? We don't know. My guess is a lot of the White House staff, like the butlers and those kind of people, are deep state FBI, CIA, NSA spies, operatives spying on Trump. And here at Mar-a-Lago is secure, and the people that work at Mar-a-Lago are people he's hired and have been properly vetted. So I think he comes to Mar-a-Lago to really do business, because that's the one place he feels he can talk without being spied upon by the deep state. That would be my guess. So he comes home every weekend. So last Saturday, we had that violation of the airspace 3 times, an hour apart. That doesn't sound like an accident to me. That sounds like a test of the security. They scrambled F-16 fighter jets. So the president was scheduled to land yesterday around 7:35-ish. And if you remember, a couple weeks back, I went up to make a YouTube video, which is on my channel here, of the president returning home to Mar-a-Lago. And it was the first time I was going to see him as president. And the president's limousine, the Beast, was traveling at full speed down the highway. I've never seen it do that before. He usually drives at idle speed and wait, and it was full speed. And it was obviously for security reasons. So then last night, I saw something that I've never seen before with the president. And I'll tell you, I'm close enough to Mar-a-Lago. When the president flies to, like, if he goes to an event in Miami, he takes Marine One. It flies right over my house. And in fact, Marine One flies over my house, and it has a complete security detail with it. It flies so low, it vibrates the house. Like if I were sitting here on the back porch, not only would you hear it, it vibrates the porch. But anyway, so the president is landing around 7:30-ish. 7:35 was the scheduled time. I go out to check the mail. There were, and I did see, I did a live stream earlier, late in the afternoon, about Gene Hackman. And when I was doing that live stream, a military helicopter flew over my house and was heading towards the airport. And I couldn't tell if it was Air Force or Army. I'm guessing it's Air Force because the direction it came from was from the Air Force Base, and it was going directly to the airport. It was about 3 hours before the president was supposed to land there on Air Force One. So this was around 7:30, between 7:30 and 8. I don't remember exactly what time this was. I did a live stream about it last night. I go out to check the mail. There is, I counted about 10 circling very wide area helicopters in a formation. It was dark out, so I couldn't I could see the lights on the helicopters, but I couldn't see them because it was dark, what type of helicopters they were. But they were, it was a net. They were in a large formation. They went all the way east over the ocean, all the way west towards the Florida Everglades, and they were also way south. And I counted at least 10. They were in a formation. They looked as if they were flying with like wingmen, like two together, forming this huge net. And they were slowly moving forward from the Florida Everglades to the ocean, north towards Mar-a-Lago and the airport. I have never seen that type of security for him. He comes every weekend. I've never seen them do that before. It was the first time I've seen it. And my guess is it has something to do with what happened last week that they haven't given us any detail. It was the heaviest security. That's why, you guys, I don't, if you remember in the first term, I used to go up to Mar-a-Lago all the time. I would live stream and things like that. That area that I used to go and live stream, remember, you've seen me make vlogs and live stream along the water on the intercoastal, right in the backyard of Mar-a-Lago. You've seen me do that many times. You can't go there now. That's a public park with public parking. It's all closed down. The streets are closed down. They have checkpoints, but they didn't have that in the first term. But this thing with the helicopters last night, I couldn't believe it. I really could not believe it. So the security around the president is at a level that it's never been before. It is very high, very, very high. I mean, I'm glad they're protecting him, but it really shows you what he's going through. And my guess is it's Iran that's behind this stuff. Wouldn't you agree with that or not? What would be your guess? But it's not, I mean, I just feel so bad for him that he's got to go through this. By the way, if you're new to my channel, my name's Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. And make sure that you subscribe. Oh, yeah. The thing with the helicopters, I've never seen that before. And anytime the president has come to town, this term or the first term, I'm always on the lookout, because it's really cool to see and experience. Yeah, it's, these Democrats really should be ashamed of themselves. They're just terrible, terrible people. So AOC is really losing her mind lately. Let me share this clip of AOC. Okay, now first off, this is a big thing. Obama used to talk about this a lot. Okay, oh, tax cuts. Well, how are you going to pay for them? We can't have tax cuts. Look at all the money that Doge has been exposing as waste. They're telling us we can't have tax cuts. They're giving millions of dollars to the media and all these different things that we're hearing. I mean, for her to make an argument like that's insane. G-Wagon. Okay, now keep in mind, she's a multimillionaires now. Okay, so she's one of those millionaires. She does, she still wants to claim that she's some democratic socialist, but she's a multi-millionaires now. Okay, now, Rush used to talk all the time about the Democrats and how they operate. He says the Democrats, they have that old playbook, that old worn out playbook, and they always bring out talking points and make moves from that old worn out playbook. The idea that, because the tax cuts are coming now, the tax cuts haven't been done yet. The no taxes on tips, the no taxes on Social Security, you know, and of course making the Trump tax cuts permanent, you know, and which are great. And they're anticipating opposing the tax cuts. So they've got these old talking points that they used back in the 70s, 80s, and 90s against tax cuts. So now tax cuts are bad, right? But so they want higher taxes. But taxes on Canada, taxes on Mexico, the EU, that's bad. So what AOC is doing is she's an advocate to keep low taxes on Canada and Canadians, keep low taxes on Mexico and Mexicans, low taxes on Europe and Europeans, low taxes on China. But Americans, we have to pay higher taxes. You know, it makes plus all the waste that's being exposed by Doge. You know, I mean, of course we can pay for these tax cuts because look at all the money the government's wasting. You know, it's something else. I mean, these people they don't hear themselves because, you know, Trump derangement syndrome is hate. And of all the emotions, hate is the worst. It clouds your mind like drugs, like alcohol, like you're intoxicated, like you're high, and you don't see things clearly. And they don't even hear themselves. Why don't we pay for the tax cuts with the raising the import taxes on from Canada? But it shows they have no leader. And they have no leader, so they don't have any updated talking points. And that, you know, this is what when I was talking the last couple days about the mistake that Charlie Kirk made going on Gavin Newsom's podcast. Gavin Newsom is trying to position himself as a reasonable, rational, moderate Democrat, and he's making a move to take over leadership of the Democrat Party. And I know you and I, you know, we're MAGA people. We're not going to fall for that line of garbage. But a lot of Democrats very well may. Oh, man. And, you know, another thing about AOC, she's a millionairess now, right? I bet you she takes all those Trump tax cuts that she's against. I bet you she takes every single one of those Trump tax cuts to keep as many of her millions as possible. And Elon Musk, she thinks, is a Nazi. How many times have you seen her bragging about her Tesla? So she's driving a Nazi's car? Oh, my goodness. Now, President Trump, he's done something amazing. And I'm surprised people are not blaming Elon for this in the media. Because Trump has so many things going on that they just can't keep up. By the way, if you're new, make sure you subscribe to my channel. My name's Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk, and if you're already subbed, do me the favor of liking and sharing the video, because that helps too. Do you guys think, let me know in the chat, do you think that AOC takes all the Trump tax cuts that she's opposing in that clip I played? Of course she is. Of course she is. Oh, my goodness. They all take the Trump tax cuts that they say are bad. You gotta love. That'd be the first question I'd ask her. That shouldn't be hard for them to find out, because doesn't she have to do financial disclosures? Now, President Trump's done something pretty amazing here. He's finally the first president to crack down on the racism in South Africa. Donald Trump has suspended all aid to South Africa due to its anti-white racism. For years, white people have been terrorized in South Africa. And not only have they been terrorized, they've been really terrorizing the white farmers in South Africa for years. So what they've done, the black South Africans have brought back apartheid, is what they've done, but it's against whites. And during apartheid, we had an embargo against South Africa. Remember, one of the Lethal Weapon movies was about that. Remember, was it Lethal Weapon 1 or 2? I think it was Lethal Weapon, the first one. Remember, they had the Cougarans, and the South Africans were the villains, and they couldn't trade the Cougarans in the United States because of the apartheid embargo, and Danny Glover, there was a scene where he went to the South African embassy and he was going to move to South Africa. It was hilarious. But the blacks of South Africa have brought back apartheid against white people. And Donald Trump not only is cracking down on that, he's also offering refugee status to the white South African farmers who are discriminated against down there. And they can come here and be farmers in Iowa, I guess, and they won't have that problem. But, you know, the thing is with the media about this, the left-wing woke media, they think that the white people in South Africa should be terrorized, that they deserve to be terrorized, that black South Africans are entitled to terrorize them. It's really a crazy way that these leftists think, but that's how they think. They're nuts. Oh man, this is great. Is the Trump second term better than the first? Hell yeah, I think it is. It's just a lot of fun. Oh, it's the best. It's the best. Everything is just going so well. Oh, man. Now, of course, if you'd like to support my channel, great way to do that is, of course, go to mypillow.com with my promo code Kane. There's huge deals site-wide. You can use my promo code on all the specials at mypillow.com, no matter what it says. TV specials, radio specials, whatever the special is, the clearance event. You know, you can use my promo code Kane at checkout, K-A-N-E, on all these specials. The War Room specials, Bongino specials, Gallagher specials. You can use my promo code Kane, K-A-N-E, at checkout on all these specials. And not only do you save big, look at this. The MyPillow body pillow, just $29.98. What a great deal. Not only this, it's free shipping on all orders, no matter how small they are. No minimum orders. Sheet sets right now, MyPillow sheet sets, $40 off all sizes with my promo code Kane at checkout, and free shipping. I just put my MyPillow sheets in the wash right before I started the stream. So great way to support my program in all my content is to go to mypillow.com, use my promo code Kane at checkout, and load up. All right, I'd appreciate that. Okay, so I lost my place here. Hold on a second, guys. Lost my place. Where is that story? Oh, yes. Okay. Look at this. This is, how is this even allowed? Look at this. Ex-aide to AOC, who's in, this is in Fox News. Former illegal immigrant aide to AOC self-deports to Colombia amid questions about employment. So he's not a former illegal immigrant. He was an illegal immigrant. He was in this country illegally, and he was working for AOC. How can a foreign national who's an illegal alien in this country get a job working for a member of the United States House of Representatives? That seems like a security threat. Look at this. An illegal immigrant who once served as an aide to AOC has reportedly self-deported to Colombia, praising the freedom of movement in the South American nation after working in Congress despite being in the country illegally. Diego de la Vega was born in Ecuador, came to the United States at the age of 7 in 2001 on a visitor's visa that he overstayed. The news raises thorny questions about his employment status for the Queens-based Congresswoman. And he said this, "It's bittersweet. I hadn't left the country in 23 years, from age 7 to 30, De La Vega told the Migrant Insider. Oh, my goodness. Now, I can't go back to the U.S. It feels like exile. It's a very permanent move, but my wife and I are confident we made the right decision, and after some time, it's been a real pleasure to be here." I bet he got a free college education, too. "It feels surreal not to be illegalized anymore. I don't have to live in the shadows or constantly worry about paperwork. The freedom of movement is incredibly satisfying." He was working for a member of the House of Representatives, AOC. De La Vega became, it didn't sound like he was living in fear at all. De La Vega became politically active after the failure of the DREAM Act in 2010, when the legislation fell just 5 votes short in the Senate. After working for an immigrant rights group, he served as communications director for Robert Rodriguez, then a member of the New York State Assembly, who currently serves as president and CEO of the New York State Dormitory Authority. In 21, De La Vega was hired by AOC's reelection campaign and eventually became her deputy communications director. AOC told the news outlet, Diego is amazing. We love him. He worked for AOC despite not being a U.S. citizen and illegal. I mean, my goodness. How are these things allowed? And I'm wondering, because we're not really getting the full story here. Did he self-deport because Tom Homan was on his tail? My guess would be he self-deported because he thought Tom Homan was going to get him. That would be my guess, But I'm not too sure. They're not telling us in that story, of course. Now here I talked about this story on my podcast a couple podcasts ago, and this story here. Trump says he's not considering a pardon for Derek Chauvin, who was convicted in the George Floyd case. Okay, now this is another example of the crafting of fake news. Derek Chauvin has state convictions and federal convictions. So if Trump pardoned him, he wouldn't get out of prison. He's got the state charges, okay, the murder charges. So he'd stay in prison. I always tell you guys, never trust a never Trumper, right? Never trust a never Trumper. And this story was made up and started by Ben Shapiro a few days ago on his podcast. And nobody was talking about pardoning Derek Chauvin. Ben Shapiro just started talking about it and pushed this false narrative. And I was talking about it at the time. I said, this was maybe 2 or 3 podcast episodes ago, like I think 2 podcasts back from my most recent episode as of today, as of this moment. And and Ben Shapiro was just trying to screw Trump over here. What benefit would it be for him to pardon him? Now, I don't think Derek Chauvin should be in prison. He did not get a fair trial. He had a lynch mob after him, okay? But a Trump pardon wouldn't let him out of prison because he's got the state charges, the murder charges. All it would do would be to cause racial division and turn a lot of people against Trump, probably who are for him, breathe life back into the Black Lives Matter movement, which is pretty much evaporated right now. So why did Ben Shapiro make this up? I'll tell you 2 reasons with Ben Shapiro. Number one, he's a never Trumper. Don't ever let him convince you he's not. He's a big never Trumper. He hates Trump. He pretends to support Trump because he, doesn't want to destroy his program and his empire. But he's a never Trumper. So he planted this out there to try to screw Trump over. As an establishment never Trumper, he thinks MAGA people are stupid. Ben Shapiro thinks of us in the MAGA movement the same way Democrats do, and that we're racist and stupid and all these things, and that this would start a movement against Trump of MAGA supporters. See, if you notice, a lot of this fake news is about trying to cause division in MAGA, like the thing I started with about the fake news about the cabinet meeting with Elon and Rubio and Sean Duffy, And this is another. Those MAGA crazies. Oh yeah, they're big Chauvin people. They're always trying to cause division. The other thing too with Ben Shapiro is Ben Shapiro's out. No one talks about him anymore except me. I'm talking about him now, but because I'm exposing him. But he's not a part of the movement. No, he's not referenced to. I mean, you guys that are watching me, when's the last time you watched Ben Shapiro? I haven't watched or listened to him in a long time. This Derek Chauvin thing that he said, I saw a clip that was in my feed on X, is how I saw it. And he is a never Trumper, but he's also out. Ever since the thing he's had, the Daily Wire has had two big hits against them. Losing Candace Owens, and again, I agree that she's an anti-Semite and all that, but losing Candace Owens was a blow. And then the thing with Brett Cooper is that I think that the guys over at the Daily Wire, who are a bunch of very self-important dorks, I mean, they're just dorks. Jeremy Boring with the bent key around his neck, Michael Knowles, who's always doing these things with OnlyFans girls and with his cigars, so he's a man, and the other guy with the beard. I know he did some good stuff with that movie, but he spends a little too much time with the beard. He's the best of the crew, and then the old guy, I don't know anything about him, but they're a collection of dorks. They're not a part of the influence movement anymore, and I noticed a lot of movement by Ben Shapiro and them to try to be relevant. They were the whole four, right? Ben Shapiro, Jeremy Boring, no, five of them. There's five of them. Ben Shapiro, Jeremy Boring, Michael Knowles. The other two I can never remember their names. The guy with the beard and the old man. They were on stage talking to amongst themselves at CPAC, which obviously they probably, that's probably like a paid sponsorship kind of thing. And then when I was watching the president's address to Congress the other night, I saw Ben Shapiro and Jeremy Boring and his crew up in the audience, which they got their way into somehow. So Ben Shapiro is working pretty hard trying to be relevant again. So I think he was trying to get a thing going with that, and it just failed. That's the best way to put it. It just failed. It didn't work out for him. So he's, and I expect some more stunts from him because he's out of the loop now. I mean, that's just it. He's out of the loop, and you know how these guys operate. They always want to be in the loop. Again, if you're new to my channel, my name's Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Make sure you subscribe if you're new, and if you're already subscribed, please like and share the video if you don't mind. Jeffrey in the chat, he said Shapiro tried to buy Tim Pool and Tim Pool rejected the deal too cheap. I heard that. It seemed like that. I don't know if that's been confirmed, but it has Tim Pool confirmed that? Because I did hear that, and then Tim Pool was teasing something big was happening, and then it didn't happen. So maybe. But the Daily Wire took a big hit with losing Candace Owens and Brett Cooper. I think they got rid of Candace because of her anti-Semitism, I'm sure. But I don't think they understood how popular Brett Cooper was. Because Brett Cooper was a big blow to them, and now she's blowing up, doing her thing, that she broke free of them. And the Brett Cooper, really, that caught him off guard. And then they tried to plug in that girl who betrayed Brett Cooper, her producer, Reagan, and that just tanked. So they've taken a hit, and they're doing, and Ben Shapiro and the Daily Wire are doing a bunch of things to be relevant again. They're like, I guess, trying to go viral, clout chasing, doing whatever. And it's the thing with that Ben Shapiro started with Derek Chauvin this week was, to me, an act of desperation. That's how I kind of see it. But hey, listen, gotta do what you gotta do. But I'm not going to play this clip because the View, which is so irrelevant. I mean, I'm not playing any clips from the View. But I'll tell you what happened. This was yesterday on the View. Joy Behar said that she would not even donate a kidney to a friend of hers if they voted for Trump. I mean, now think about that. Think about that. What a psychopath. So she would let a friend of hers die because they voted for Trump? And she thinks that makes her look good? You know? I mean, she is a psycho. If I were a friend of hers, I would drop that friendship. But, you know, her friends probably think that does make her a hero. I was very surprised to hear her say something like that. You know, I really was. Because, you know, there's some things that people think, but they don't say out loud because they know what it makes them look like. But Joy Behar, I guess she's lost that filter. No. B. Medley in the chat says, can't stand Reagan, not Ronald Reagan, Reagan that replaced Brett Cooper. That was just a dumb transition they did. I don't even know if she's still doing that show, Reagan. I don't know. Should she keep doing it? She looks kind of... It's a beautiful day here in Florida. I mean, it is really beautiful. Alexa, what's the weather today? Right. All right. Alexa, stop. It's 62 degrees right now, but the high is going to be 86 degrees. Oh, my goodness. I might have to get the MAGA scooter and go for a ride on my Vespa today. High of 86. That sounds like perfect weather. Oh, my. It's beautiful now. There's hardly a cloud in the sky. Oh, man. But The View is about to go the way of Off the Air. Now, this is got to be freaking some people out. Christy, no. The two leakers of the Department of Homeland Security Operation Information Leaks have been ID'd. This is in Breitbart. Department of Homeland Security Secretary Christy Nome announced that two people who leaked information regarding the operations of DHS have been identified. She said, we have identified two leakers of information here at the Department of Homeland Security who have been telling individuals about our operations and putting law enforcement lives in jeopardy. We plan to prosecute these two individuals and hold them accountable for what they've done. So we're going to see an arrest. And let's see here. She made a video about it. Let's maybe play this. Hold on. Wow. And I hope those are high-profile arrests, don't you? Those really need to be very high-profile arrests. There's just no getting around it. I mean, you do something like that. I mean, first of all, you're helping federal fugitives. So if you're giving assistance to a federal fugitive, you're an accessory, aren't you? Don't you? I mean, don't you go to prison for that? I thought you went to prison for that. Well, these two actually might. She said they're going to prosecute them, so they're going to get arrested. To prosecute, you have to arrest, and I'm sure they'll do time, as they should. And that's got to scare a lot of people. It's got to scare a lot of people because, you know, the people in the government are not used to accountability. They're used to being in charge. And we need some arrest and high-profile, not just arrests, but prosecutions. And then we've got, in about 10 days, Dan Bongino is reporting for duty at the FBI. It took him a couple weeks because he's got to wind down his business before he does it. He couldn't just leave his business on a dime. So, you know, my guess is when Bongino gets to the FBI, that's when we're going to start to see some of the big arrests from people that should be arrested, that we know by name. Oh, my kittens are over here. You guys haven't seen the kittens in a while. Pepsi and Coca-Cola. Let me see if I can show them. Hold on. Come here, Pepsi. Pepsi. No, over here. Here he comes. Hold on. Come here, Pepsi. They're not used to all the equipment up here. I've had it here before, but not since they were a lot smaller, so they may not remember. Hey, Coca-Cola. They're just checking out the equipment. No, sadly, our dog passed away. We just have our cats now. Our 3 cats. Luna, Pepsi, and Coca-Cola. And some strays that we take care of. The strays, I call them the migrants. Because they're here against our wishes, and they're eating all our food and living off of it. So they're on the dole. So I call the strays the migrants. But no, they're playing. They left. They were smelling the camera and the computer, and then they left. You'll see them another time. Oh boy, let me see what other stories I've got. So many stories, but oh yes, I don't want to miss this one. This is an important one because we're about to get some resolution here. Putin has said he's ready to discuss a truce with Ukraine because while we have sanctions on Russia, they're not hardcore. And Trump told Putin that there's going to be bigger sanctions than we already have if he doesn't back off. And if you watch the president, this is a very important thing happened yesterday involving Ukraine and Russia and Trump and everything that's going on. The president in one of the Oval Office events yesterday, he said, was it yesterday or the day before? I think it was yesterday. He said, and I did not know this, that there's been a massive increase in bombing by Russia on Ukraine. And the media, they don't show it to you. The reason they don't show it to you is I believe, because if people saw how much death and destruction was taking place, it would cause people to say, hey, Zelensky, what are you doing? But Russia has really, according to the president, been doing a massive bombing over the last few days into Ukraine, devastating, large scale. And Trump said they're trying to bomb Zelensky into submission so he'll talk peace and end the war. And I want you to know that if Zelensky would not have acted like such a jerk 8 days ago in the Oval Office with the president, Marco Rubio, and the vice president, there'd be a ceasefire going on right now. All these people that have died in Ukraine from this Russian bombing are dead because of Zelensky last Friday and these Democrats that got him all worked up before that meeting. This bombing campaign and the deaths that happened this week would not have happened if Zelensky would have done what he said he was going to do and signed the mineral deal, and there'd be a ceasefire by now. It's really a shame. Really a shame. You know, and you know, but he doesn't care. Zelensky doesn't care. It's just the way it is. Now, if you're new to my channel, my name is Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Make sure you subscribe, those of you that are new. If you're already subscribed, do me the favor of liking the video, all right? I'll see you next time. Take care. Thanks for watching.